You are the only one in the entire mainstream media. Well, I am not mainstream media. If you regard YouTube as mainstream media, well, I'm first of all, I don't see myself as a media person, and I definitely am not mainstream. Mainstream is those all those TV debates, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. debates. That's mainstream media. Anyhow, okay. So I was the only one who was telling everyone that the Taliban is an American vassal, and now it's crystal clear. I hope it's clear. I hope it's sufficiently clear to everyone. I was saying it like 2 3 years ago when it was not fashionable to make such statements, but those statements have come true. Yeah, they've been vindicated. So the Taliban is a U.S. Asset, so to say. Now it appears there are reports in the mainstream media that the CIA director is going to visit the Bagram Airbase, and that the Taliban apparently has handed over the Bagram Airbase to the Americans. And let me point this out, my friends, that the Americans have denied this, and even the Taliban has denied this. Now, who was it that said? I think it was the Iron Chancellor Otto von Bismarck who said, "Never believe anything until it's been officially denied." Anyhow, so both sides have denied this. The Americans have denied it. The Taliban has also denied this. That that the Americans are taking back control of Bagram. But hypothetically, in a hypothetical situation where they are taking over control again, okay, in that hypothetical situation, what why would they do that? Why would the US want to take back control of the Bagram Air Base? Is it a pressure tactic against Iran? Is it aimed at China? Does it have something to do with Pakistan? And how should India react to this? All right. So finally, I can break out the map. Okay, we have gone 51 minutes without seeing the map. So let's see the map. Where's the map? Here's the map on the screen, and we're going to look at Bagram. Here we are. So in case you don't know, Bagram is in Afghanistan, Gandhar, and it is somewhere near Kabul. I think north of Kabul. Oh yeah, no. Here we have it, Bagram. So this is the town of Bagram, and if we go to the satellite view, we can see the airbase. Here's the airbase. It has, I think, two runways. It's a pretty good airbase, very useful. And let's just check the length of the airbase just to make sure we have a good understanding. 3.14 kilometers is essentially you can land any aircraft, no matter how big it is, on this airbase. And it used to be controlled by the Soviets during the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. There's this old Soviet air traffic tower over here. There's a former base of the Soviet army there. Then the Americans controlled this base for about roughly 2 decades, and then they handed it over to the Taliban. So now that we understand where Bagram is in relation to Kabul, as you can see, it's about, I don't know, 50, 70 kilometers or so from Kabul, 45 kilometers from Kabul, roughly, give or take. Now let's see its location in the larger neighborhood. For example, if I take the distance from Bagram to Srinagar, it's about 500 kilometers. What about Bagram to, let's say, the border, let's say to Mashhad over here? It's 70 kilometers. The distance from Bagram to the Iran border is about 730 kilometers. And the distance from Bagram to, let's say, Tibet, over here, it's about 550, 600 kilometers. Okay, we get the point. And if we are talking about Russia, Russia is too far away. But Central Asia is not far from Afghanistan. Just north of Afghanistan, you have Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, all these Central Asian nations. And Central Asia historically has been a part of the Russian sphere of influence. So the question is, why would the US want to take control of Bagram back from the Taliban? One factor could be Iran. Look, right now, Iran, the Americans consider it as one of their prime adversaries. They are worried about the Iranian nuclear program. Iran, obviously, as we know, is a nation that is a prime adversary of Israel. There have been missile strikes and counter strikes and airstrikes between the two last year. Um, And the Israelis obviously are very worried about Iranian capabilities. Iran has a strategic deal with China. Iran is an ally, so to say, of Russia. There is military cooperation between Iran and Russia, and the nuclear capabilities, potential nuclear capabilities, are a very worrisome thing from the Western or US perspective. So if you have an airbase in Bagram, if you have control of it, if you can fly aircraft from there, it gives you power projection capabilities that can definitely encompass the whole of Iran and also worry China. So one target could be Iran. Okay, you can keep an eye on what's happening in Iran. If you can fly AWACS or other aircraft over Afghanistan, which you can have them based in Bagram, and you can also strike at Iran if you need to in that hypothetical situation from Bagram. That's one. So that's the Bagram. That's the Iran angle. Is there a Russia angle? Look, Russia is far away. The Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan region, Turkmenistan region, all of that is part of the Russian sphere of influence. But Russia is right now occupied with in Ukraine very much, and it has other priorities. I don't think Russia is creating any trouble from the American perspective in this region. So I would be skeptical if somebody were to claim that the Bagram Airbase, if the Americans are taking it back, it's there to counter Russia. Probably not Russia. Now, let's look eastwards. We have Pakistan, we have India, obviously, and we have China. China is not very far, about 550 kilometers away. The Xinjiang region, East Turkestan or Xinjiang region of China. Now, there's a trade war going on that's just been unleashed by President Trump against China, and the Chinese have long seen Afghanistan as a strategic area through which they could have the Belt and Road Initiative infrastructure built. The Chinese are also are investing in some industries in Afghanistan, whether it is copper, whether it's lithium or something else, various minerals and so on. The Chinese are interested in that. And the Chinese border is not very far away, less than 600 kilometers away. So yeah, you could keep an eye on China and keep an eye on everything that's happening in the Tibet and Xinjiang region. If you could fly an aircraft, AWACS or whatever aircraft, about 10,000, 15, 20,000 20,000 meters above Afghanistan, that's another possibility. Um, Pakistan is not that big of an issue for the Americans. They've always had this weird relationship with Pakistan, friend as well as enemy at the same time. But Pakistan is not that important, and I would not imagine they would take Bagram just to keep an eye on Pakistan. Does it have anything to do with India? No, India is not really an enemy of the US. We are kind of quasi friendly with the US actually in a variety of ways. So they don't need to have Bagram to keep an eye on India. There's a lot of other ways they can do it if they want to, and India is quite open with the US. So no such issue. How should India react to this if the Americans take back Bagram? India should stay out of it. We stayed out of it when the Americans occupied Afghanistan for 20 years, and Afghanistan is no longer part of India, long time gone. So India should say it's a foreign country, it's something that's happening elsewhere, and we stay out of it. That should be India's reaction to this. So if this is actually happening, I would say it is most likely a China related thing more than Russia or Iran or Pakistan.